Welcome everyone to another episode of PL Seasons to Remember. Tonight we are going to be talking to you about controversial transfers, and we have selected, I suppose technically it's 6 transfers, but it's like almost 3 in a way because they're kind of all interlinked. So we've got Ashley Cole and William Gallas, we've got Andy Carroll and Fernando Torres, and then lastly we're going to end on Mkhitaryan and Alexis Sanchez. So first one up, Ashley Cole and William Gallas. So I'll just go through what that kind of happened, and then I'll come to each of you for your opinions on certain things like the players and that. So Ashley Cole and William Gallas, the deal was £5 million and William Gallas. I wish someone would pay £5 million for me. So just going through Ashley Cole's Arsenal stats before he went to Chelsea, he did 156 appearances and 8 goals. He won 2 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups. Probably a few Community Shields, but I didn't look them up because we don't count them. His Chelsea stats, 229 appearances, 7 goals, 1 Premier League title, 4 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 1 Europa League and 1 Champions League. And William Gallas did 159 appearances at Chelsea, scored 12 goals, 2 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups. He had 101 appearances at Arsenal with 12 goals, and then he sadly went to Spurs and got 61 appearances with 1 goal. So I guess I'll just go to you. Let's talk about Ashley Cole first, because he's like the controversial figure in football, probably maybe one of the most controversial figures ever. So I guess we have to go to Taven first because you're the Arsenal man. So you must have obviously thought Ashley Cole. I think we're all going to agree Ashley Cole's probably maybe the best left back of all time Premier League wise, aren't we? You know?
Yeah.
So what's your opinions on what was your opinion on Ashley Cole when he was at Arsenal, and then when he left, what was your? You can say what you want, just don't swear.
Yeah. So obviously I think with all Arsenal fans always have a big affinity for Ashley Cole, and especially with him being an Arsenal man coming through the academy, and then to develop into such a good player for both Arsenal and England, and just a mainstay in that back four. After Arsenal had such a strong and stable back four for so long, and then he's just come in and took over sort of where Winterburn left off, and he was just such a solid option coming in for those sort of years when Arsenal were, really on top. So I think the fans, he was just so dependable, and you always hear. I watched the Wigan game, the last game he actually played in the league for Arsenal the other day, and just how much the commentators are talking about such a good big boost for England, such a big boost for Arsenal coming back from a long-term injury. So then just for him to lose him, not just to lose him in general is like a massive blow to any team, but then for him to go to Chelsea, that did it did sink the knife in a little bit. And there was a lot of bad blood between Arsenal and Ashley Cole for pretty much for the remainder of his career. And I think I'd maybe say it's mellow potentially, but I don't think he'll ever be one of those sort of legends who'll be welcomed back and paraded around the pitch like you see at certain events, which is a bit sad really, because obviously what he achieved with the club.
And he was obviously a big massive part of the Invincibles team, wasn't he?
Exactly, yeah. And I think
that was probably his best season at Arsenal, wasn't it? Would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, just that left side with sort of Perez, Henry drifting out onto that left, and Ashley Cole. It was just they talk about it like Jamie Carragher talks about it all the time. That left side, and Gary Neville says so. That it's just unbelievable. So. A massive loss to Arsenal, and we'd never really, although we had like Cale Clichy who came in, never really sort of had someone of that calibre.
Yeah, it wasn't actually. He was a good player, I think, Cale Clichy, like a decent fullback, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So before we move on to what we got to you, Dougie, what did you think of William Gallas just as a player before you got him? Were you quite chuffed that you got, because you needed a centre back at time desperately, didn't you? So
So. I mean, Gallas at Chelsea, there's parts of it and you feel that like when we got him, it's quite a bit of softened the blow a little bit, because Gallas at the time were quite a big player for Chelsea. And I don't think Chelsea really wanted to part ways with him.
No. He wanted to leave for some reason.
I don't know how that came about.
He's never really said. I think he wanted to go abroad, and then I think kind of things just didn't work out or something, and then he sort of.
Do you think it might have been maybe sort of like Ricardo Carvalho were being touted to be Terry's partner potentially? Or?
I think so. Do you know? I will say as well. I think. Well, actually, no. I'll wait to say that. But William Gallas was. I think he thought he was going to maybe go to like Real Madrid or something, and I don't know if there wasn't interest there, but Marino always said there wasn't a problem with him and William Gallas. It was a problem with the club. So I don't know if it was about maybe about money. At the same time, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's never said though.
Yeah, there's lots of these things you'll never find out. Yeah.
No. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dougie, just give us your thoughts on Ashley Cole as a player at Arsenal before we got Chelsea, and William Gallas as well. Just give us both of them what you thought of both as players. And
Ashley Cole was best left I've seen in the Premier League. Don't think there's even been a better one. Even now, I still think even now he's still the best.
Yeah.
He came up from the youth team Arsenal, like he says, into trying to get into a back four where they've been so dominant as a back four as a unit for so long. But he's coming into a team full of big characters.
Yeah.
Lee Dixon, big character. Tony Adams, massive character.
And he had the cojones, didn't he? I don't want to use the other word. He had the cojones to kind of put his marker down and say his piece, didn't he? Yeah.
He came in and said, "Look, I'm going to be the left back in this team.
Yeah.
Back until I either go or I retire. I'm going to be the left back." And he was, and no one could touch him. I mean, there were Kieran Gibbs that was a left back at Arsenal. Never really got lucky when Ashley Cole was there. Never. I don't know if he was there, Kieran Gibbs. Then I might be wrong. I
thought Gibbs came later, didn't he? I didn't.
Yeah, I think he might have been at the club, but I don't think he were sort of first team ready at that stage.
Yeah. So it was like a young lad, would you say at that point?
Yeah. Sort of Ashley Cole. There weren't many people banging on the manager's door and saying, "Look, I'm better than Ashley Cole. I should be." There was none of that. And I thought Ashley Cole was brilliant, and I think he was in the golden era for England, and I think he's probably one of the only players in the England team, I would think, in the golden era that could turn around and say, "Actually, mate, you can hold your head up high in every tournament." Because every time.
Do you know what? I'm going to say, I think that entire back four for England could have done, because that back four did not concede many goals. It was just going forward. We didn't really do much.
You're right.
He's a damn good penalty taker as well, Ashley Cole.
Oh, yeah. Well, totally.
Yeah. And he scored one in FA Cup final as well, yeah.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Younger Ashley Cole. I think he was, wasn't he? Was he a
striker? Yeah, I think in his book he said he was a striker, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I read that.
What about William Gallas then? What did you think to him as a player? I mean,
to be brutally honest with you, was a bad egg. He was a bad egg.
Well, no, right. Okay, right. But what do you think of him as a player, like when he was at Chelsea? Is what I'm trying to get at, yeah.
He was good. I thought he was good at Chelsea. I think he was the more senior defender at Chelsea at the time, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah. I believe he played with Desai before. I think Terry was obviously still there, but I think Gallas got in the team cemented more before Terry did, yeah.
As for when you first won your first league title, he was the most senior.
Played left back.
He played left back. He could play. He was quite good around. He could play between left back and centre back, which is good because really sometimes, as Monreal found out, Arsenal, you put him at centre back and it's like you get lost. You get lost there as well as with Gallas.
Yeah, it's probably a hard position to. Yeah. It's almost like if you're a centre back, you can play full back, but if you're a full back, you can't play centre back. That's how I sort of always see it.
And I thought he was good at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Came to Arsenal. I think to be honest with you.
Well, hang on, we're not there yet. We're doing what they were like before, impressions, and then we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask afterwards. Yeah.
Chelsea. I think they were both very, very.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. See,
to the team.
I loved William Gallas, and I think he became more of a sulk than he was when he was at Chelsea, but I don't know why that was. He was a good player for us. I do think what T said, I think he had a problem with not getting in the team over Carvalho, but personally, I think Carvalho was better than Gallas in terms of centre-back, but Gallas was probably more flexible. I think Gallas was a bit like Ivanovic, where he could play he could play along the back four anyway, basically.
Yeah.
Always had a goal in him. Couldn't complete. He scored some really important goals for us, including one against Spurs in the last minute. So, after Ashley Cole, great player. I didn't really like him that much. I always thought he was a bit of a punk, but I think when you were younger, you kind of get that impression from some players, don't you? And I almost think you confuse confidence for arrogance, and I think he was confident. I mean, I think we can all agree Ashley Cole as a person is probably not on a lot of people's Christmas cards list, does he? I mean, he didn't treat his wife very well, did he, and stuff. I think we can all agree with that. Stuff like that. But as a player, I mean, how many times did he clear off the line? Even just for England, it was always there, all the time. In fact, I remember when you won the FA Cup against Man United, he cleared off the line in that game, didn't he? I believe. Yeah, he was just unbelievable. So obviously, when the transfer came, I mean, when we tapped up Ashley Cole, because we tapped up Ashley Cole, like, I liked Wayne Bridge, but I knew Wayne Bridge wasn't as good as Ashley Cole. So I was like, give us Ashley Cole. I almost wonder why Arsenal didn't ask for Wayne Bridge. But they needed a centre back, didn't they? Now,
I think they had Clichy, didn't they? Like we say, I think he was ready to come through then.
Yeah, so they probably didn't think he needed him. Now, when I noticed the change in Gallas was when we won the title in 05-06, and he said, I hope Chelsea win the league next year. And the way he said it wasn't like he was going to be there. And that's when I noticed, I thought he's not staying. And then I noticed the big change in him sulking was during the World Cup for France. He just seemed to be in a strop the whole tournament, which obviously didn't work out for him at the end of it because they lost the final. But and then when he went to Arsenal, I mean, I think he started off quite well for you guys. I don't think he started off badly. Whereas Ashley Cole in his first season for Chelsea had a few injury problems and he got better after, I think, than that. Like, I think Ashley Cole's best season for us was 09-10 when we did double. He was unbelievable that season. So what do you guys think about what happened afterwards? And I think Dougie's going to have a lot to say about William Gallas, so I might let Dougie go first on this one.
Yeah.
I think generally, if you look at both players, I think Chelsea never really missed Gallas.
And I think we probably did the first season left because of injuries, but I know what you're saying. In the long run, it didn't. Yeah.
If you look in the long run, they never really missed William Gallas, as well as Arsenal for a lot of years, and still to this day now, they're always missing that one player, that one defender, that one left back, that one midfielder. They always seem to be missing. It never replaced Ashley Cole.
Don't you think that players like that are impossible to replace, though?
Yeah.
Like us, we're never going to replace John Terry, are we? In our centre half, we're never going to get a player like that.
I think the whole thing with Ashley Cole going to Chelsea, it was done in a really bad.
Yeah, it was. I think all these transfers tonight were when we.
I think, in honesty as well, I think he wasn't getting what he wanted from the club. He wanted more money. The club refused to pay him that money.
Yeah.
They've also promised him that money as well, so they've sort of gone back on.
And as I said previously to you guys off air, Arsene Wenger told him to hold out for that money. So Arsene Wenger was very supportive of the man himself. It wasn't like.
And I sort of believe as well, he was actually, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, I believe he was also told that he wasn't getting that money back to go on the plane with England, if I'm correct.
I've read his book and I don't even remember, so I can't.
Just going by what I'd heard, I listened to David Dean talk as well. He did a meeting once at our work, and it was on about different things with Ashley Cole. He never get really into a lot of detail, but I think I read that he was told on the plane going to England for a competition that actually you're not getting it. So some way you can say I think Ashley Cole's reason for leaving, but Chelsea's ways of trying to get him. But then Gallas going to Arsenal, it's a good player, William Gallas, but he caused more problems than anything else. He had arguments with Cole Torres. He had arguments with other players.
Yeah.
what captain sits on a pitch at the end of a game and sulks because they've
That
messed
was
up?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the moment he lost Arsenal fans because I think he played all right for us then. Like he got a winner against us, didn't he? And stuff
that
as well,
when we were top of the league, yeah.
Yeah.
For Arsene Wenger to come on the pitch and say, "You're gonna have to get off." You know, we're going now. Coach, is it? If you're captain of Arsenal, what example are you setting there? You're setting no example. You're making yourself look a fool.
Yeah. I'm not making excuses for him, but do you think because he'd gotten a bit used to winning, maybe he was a bit like he couldn't kind of take losing? Does that make sense? Almost like it. What's that?
He should defend better.
They said I remember that was against Birmingham, wasn't it? That when he sat on the pitch.
I remember in that game.
I was at the same game. Well, I remember they said I think it was I can't remember if it was in the studio afterwards or whatever. If it was on like Match of the Day, I can't remember. They said, what if the penalty had been saved and he could have been there to clear it and it wasn't? I mean, Taven, so obviously, what did you think like of Ashley Cole at Chelsea and then William Gallas? I think the William Gallas thing of this is actually turned out more controversial than the Ashley Cole one in some ways because of what. So yeah, just tell us like obviously what you thought of them, like when they left, like what even just from a career perspective, like what you think, like. Yeah.
Well, I think I was always a little bit envious of Chelsea having Ashley Cole because, like I said earlier, he was one of our own, really. And for him to then go to Chelsea and be so successful, it hurt Arsenal fans to see that, really. And I think the reason why he was so got so much abuse is because how much they loved him before and how like Dougie said, how much of a big player.
I get that,
so that's
it's almost like that hurt. If somebody leaves it you don't really like, you boo them, comedy boo. Yeah. But he got booed.
Yeah, but then obviously he had a really successful career at Chelsea, winning Champions League and all sorts of trophies. And I think he was a good fit at Chelsea, like fitting in.
Oh, I do, yeah.
That,
I think it's best that we've ever had, to be honest.
Yeah, that fitting in with that but back for obviously like Terry and. They've always had, strong defense. Chelsea. So
maybe not anymore.
Yeah, up until recently, you can get at them a bit now. But then Gallas. I think like I said, I was sort of optimistic when he came to Arsenal. And, won the league 2 seasons in a row with Chelsea. Highly rated player, and then it were a time when a lot of our players had started to leave from that, like the Invincibles and stuff. Like Sol Campbell had left.
Yeah.
So we needed a big presence. We needed a sort of big presence in there to sort of like steer us through the Emirates. And I thought that it sort of slotted in like you said, Bob. It started off quite well with us.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did. Yeah.
And we had a sort of rocky first season at the Emirates, and then that second season, like you say, he scored winner against Chelsea at home. And Arsenal were running away with league, and then obviously they had like 4 draws in a row, and then he just had that padded, didn't he? And I don't think, and then I think.
Do you think he ever recovered from that? Then, do you not?
No. I think like you say, I think the fans' view on him sort of changed, and it just sort of spiraled on from there. And then he lost captaincy to Fabregas, so it were like it were like a downward struggle from there, yeah.
So, I wonder. Were you bothered when he went to Spurs then, Gallas?
Oh, not. I wouldn't say I were bothered now because I thought he's sort of past it now. He's obviously had his best year at Chelsea. Yeah. He's done all right for us, but I was like, if you've been a bit of a, like Dougie says, a bit of a bad egg, you're gonna go there, go ruin them, and he didn't really do it for them either.
You're like, go, because if he'd have gone from Chelsea to Tottenham, I probably would have been like furious. Yeah. But because he went after he'd kind of won, you're almost a bit like, well, just go there if you want.
Yeah.
So just going back to that now then. I mean, this is probably more a question for me and Taven because Dougie's not he supports Liverpool. But like, how do you feel about Ashley Cole now and William Gallas now? And
so I don't really have thoughts on William Gallas, to be honest. I'm just like,
he's gone.
Someone who's he's played for our club. He's gone now. You don't really hear anything about him anymore. since he's sort of like retired and stuff. So, don't really have much thoughts on Gallas now. But I think for Ashley Cole, I was saying this to Doug the other day. I think a lot of other Arsenal fans I think maybe just as I've got older, I've sort of mellowed to some of these sort of hatreds that I had of players like Ashley Cole and some of the other players that we'll come on to talk about.
Time's a healer, innit?
Yeah.
Plus, we're both dads now, so I think you get a bit more mellow when you become a dad, don't you?
Yeah, and I think just like listening to him when he was on Monday Night Football, he always speaks well of Arsenal. He doesn't sort of, he doesn't slag Arsenal off or anything like that. You know what I mean? So there's none of that coming from him. And then you do have to factor in from his side, like probably best left back in the world at the time, and he's getting an underhand offer. Then like what? Yeah. If you're not getting what you feel you're owed, then so I think it was quite an emotional time, and that's why he always got the reception that he did, because of where he went to and all the circumstances like with the tapping up. But I think for now I've sort of just, as I say, I don't think he'll ever be welcomed back as like here's the Invincibles parade around pitch like they do.
But maybe when he's old, you never know when he's old.
maybe, but and like I say, I think it's just part of life, isn't it? Like everyone after a while you just move on and you sort of just forgive and forget, really. As I say, if he'd sort of come out and sort of mouthing off about Arsenal and this, that, and the other, but he's never really done that. He's sort of just kept himself to himself since his move. So I don't sort of hold a grudge, really. No.
Well, I obviously love Ashley Cole because brilliant for us as well. I mean, I feel like he's one of the only players who was kind of been as good at one club as he was at another. Do you know what I mean? Like he didn't. He didn't ever. I mean, he had a couple of seasons maybe where he wasn't as good as other seasons, but he never seemed to kind of like some players, they go one way, don't they, or they go another way, and he just sort of stayed like that. And I think that's really a testament to. I mean, apparently I've heard that he doesn't drink, so which I find quite shocking. But apparently but I remember Ashley Cole playing for Arsenal in the Champions League final, and he hadn't played for months, and he
had a cracking game. I watched the highlights the other night.
And that's because he kept himself fit. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. Like, a lot of professionals back in, he probably came in at that time when Wenger was probably really good for him.
He got a lot of criticism for his personal life, but I think as a professional, they want anybody better.
He did make some weird decisions personally, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's back out Chelsea now as a youth coach and stuff, isn't he? So.
Okay.
I
didn't know.
I don't know. I'm not saying one day I'll be manager, but you never know. But William Gallas, funnily enough, I interview, and he said he'll always be a Blue, and I'm thinking, well, if you're always a Blue, why did you want to leave in the first place?
Yeah.
I think it's an enigma why he left. I've still no idea to this day. I wish he'd just come out and say, even if it were just, I didn't like not playing. You're like, right, fine. Or I didn't want to play left back all the time because of because so were playing centre back. But it was just such a strange thing. But I mean, I kind of have forgiven him a little bit now because, like, I think back to when he scored that winner against Spurs and stuff, and I'm like, that was such a great moment. I guess that's the other thing in it when players leave. You've got to kind of, they did give you some good times, and you've kind of got to think, well, that was good, wasn't it? So
and you got to think to them, it's a job, isn't it? Really, it's not like obviously like it's good to have that loyalty and stuff, and I think fans really do love that if you've got that in a player, but. For them, it's a career, isn't it? So they've got to make the best of it, really.
So that's it. I mean, have you got anything else to say, Doug, before we move on to the next one?
No, but I think you've sort of summed it all up there.
I think we can both say that we're both great players in the day, weren't they? And they're both both very successful. So maybe not. We might be saying something different when we get to some of the later ones. But, so next one up, which is one is probably more personal to Doug, Fernando Torres signed for Chelsea for 50 million. On the day he went, Liverpool signed Andy Carroll for 35 million, which you said at the time was the highest fee for. Was it Rio Ferdinand before that?
Yeah, 29. I think so.
Yeah, so that broke that record. I mean, that's been smashed now, hasn't it? Because what's still in like 50 million or something.
Yeah.
Carroll,
what did he go for?
50 million.
Oh, 50 million again, right? So I'll do some quick stat. There's not going to go for on this. Liverpool, 102 appearances, 65 goals. Now, Dougie, you seem to think that's just Premier League goals, don't you?
Yeah, I just think
and then at Chelsea, 20 goals, 110 appearances, one FA Cup, one Champions League, one Europa League. Andy Carroll, 80 appearances for Liverpool, 31 goals, and he won the League Cup. Yeah, that's right. So I guess we'll start with you then, Dougie. So Torres, probably, you loved the guy, didn't you? So
yeah,
you've got this kind of. I guess because obviously in things of time here, just give us the whole thing. What did you think when that was the player when you had him, and then what did you think when he went, and then Andy Carroll, and then we'll get Taven's side and stuff.
I think the problem for Liverpool is we went through a stage back in 2005 where we won the Champions League 5 times. I'm joking.
I forgot about it. 6 now, isn't
it? we sold Michael Owen that year.
Yeah.
And I think we never really had a striker after that who could literally go out and score you a lot of goals. We had Milan, who was good but was never prolific. Djibril Cissé, good but never prolific. And we just didn't have.
And they brought back Robbie Fowler as well, didn't they? Because they needed goals as well, yeah.
I said, if you're going to rely on bringing back 50-something-year-old, got problems, real problems. And I think a lot of the best teams in the Premier League had the best strikers in the Premier League, and we had nobody. And we were relying more on Gerrard and midfield for scores. And then absolute gem of a player from Atletico Madrid comes along, and we get a lot. I mean, we had Morientes as well came. And
didn't really work out, did it? Yeah.
Never really fit the bill, and then we just think we've had the Spanish.
Crouch as well. I forgot about Crouch.
Yeah, we've had Spanish players come before. I'm thinking, is it going to be the same? Is he going to hit the ground running? Is he going to take ages? And literally, from minute one, I mean, his first home game was Chelsea.
Yeah, he scored, didn't he? Yeah.
He just that's when his love affair with scoring goals against Chelsea.
Malouda dived in that game and got us a pen.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say I've got some things here. He played 33 games in his first season, scored 24 goals. I think he was the quickest to 20 goals we had.
Is that in the Premier League?
Yeah, at one time. Yeah. I think in all competitions he got 30. I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think we said that on that quiz we did that time. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I think Salah's brought that now.
Well, yeah, probably.
The time he was phenomenal. I mean, 08-09, the season when we nearly won the league. Again, 14 goals, 24 games. He was injured for quite a lot of that season as well.
Yeah. I think that's he had a lot of injury problems, didn't he, Torres?
And I think, if I remember that, he only started 3 games with Gerrard that season.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's interesting.
If you, I could
bringing the stats in it.
I think it's lower than 5. I'm saying 3. I could be wrong.
Well, it's still low, isn't it?
If you think about them two together and only playing that amount of games together, if we'd played every game with Gerrard, we probably would have won the league quite easily. And then, like I said, 09-10, again, he was slipping, then he was getting more injuries. And then his last half season he had in 10-11, he only got 9 goals in 23 games. And it's never the same. I don't know why.
Was that 9 goals for Liverpool? Or 9 goals in total?
That? Yeah, okay. And he got 1 goal for Chelsea.
Yeah, he only got West Ham. And that was lucky.
I don't know.
Ball got stuck in mud.
I don't know if it because he cut his hair or something. I don't know.
Another Samson.
Did he cut his hair and lose his talent? I haven't got a clue. I've not got a clue. He just seemed to go. And we had the team was built around Torres. Every time they got the ball, Alonso, Gerrard, anyone, get the ball to Torres. He'll do the business. And then when he moved to Chelsea, he came into a team at Chelsea that were full of world-class talent. At Liverpool, not many world-class players. I could count Alonso, Gerrard and Torres. Was probably that. But Mascherano,
I'd probably put Carragher in there personally. I think Carragher was a really.
I just mean, the case of.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
His goals and making it happen. Them three were the main ones, and I think when Alonso left, there was only Gerrard and Torres, and it was always going to go at some stage. £50 million Chelsea paid for Torres, which back then was a lot of money. But a lot of Chelsea fans back then, and probably you're the same, Bob. I think I remember. They were chuffed to bits with Torres. If they could get the Torres,
it was quite. That's probably the most exciting deadline day ever. And we also got David Luiz that same transfer window, so it was quite exciting. I remember I did have concerns though about him because of his injuries. I remember thinking he's going to be injured a lot. That was my worry. But then he ended up being. Yeah.
After his first season, he was quick. And I think as he went on, injuries, I don't think he was ever lightning as he was, because he had a very, very good starting. He could really get off the blocks really.
Yeah.
And he sort of lost that a little bit, and I think he lost his confidence. And I think
confidence definitely went.
The goal, he lost his confidence, and I felt really bad for him in the end. And he just never worked out for Chelsea. I think because at Liverpool he was the main man, and at Chelsea you had Drogba, you had Anelka, and you had Torres.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
just didn't quite.
I mean, David, you might as well just dive in here. What like Torres? Did you? I mean, I used to be shit scared playing against Liverpool too. I was gonna. What did you think of him at Liverpool? And then give us what you thought of him at Chelsea, obviously as well.
Yeah, I just echo what you said there, Bob. I mean, I go on when we play against the big teams. You look at players and you think, you're gonna have to do good on him.
Yeah, don't want to play against him.
You sort of see him in the lineup and you think, right, I could imagine them scoring today. And when we used to play Liverpool, it'd be like Gerrard or Torres, and they'd be the ones who could hurt you.
Yeah. And you'd always be looking at them, wouldn't you?
And you always felt Torres had a goal in him, and obviously he had that. Yeah, he's got so many goals against us, and he got in Champions League that game, and he got in that 4-4 as well. And I just think some of the goals he scored as well. I remember that one against Blackburn for Liverpool.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. And
what about that one he got against Aston Villa? That was pretty incredible as well.
Yeah. And I just
some absolute worldies for Liverpool.
Yeah, he did. And he had that. I like to say like strikers when they have that aura around them. Yeah. Like they're sort of untouchable, and they are going to score. Like there's nothing the opposition you can do about it. And he had that aura around him at Liverpool, and then when he went to Chelsea, it just wasn't ever the same.
No,
I just like what Dougie said there. I think it was sad seeing a player that was that good.
A lot of people have said that. Yeah,
that go from up here to down here, and it would just like nothing would go for. Like you said, if he did get a goal, it was always like a scuff or. It won't ever like
his best game for us was against Man City, and he looked lightning quick in that game, right? And it was almost like the old Torres came back for one game.
Oh, is that the one with the mistake at the back?
Yeah. But then you look at that game and you think, well, why was he that good in that game? And then it just went again. It's so weird.
Just want a good fit for Chelsea. I don't think.
Say again, sorry, Dougie.
He went on his own in that game. Because a lot of times he played with Drogba,
didn't he? But he was up front on his own in a lot of games. Do you know the best season he had for us was one more in the Europa League, and he was good but he was good in the Europa League. And then I almost felt kind of sorry for him because I thought, is that kind of his level now? Has he kind of dropped? Not saying Europa League's like not got good competition, but you're right about how it was just sad, wasn't it? You almost felt like you almost want. I mean, obviously I did because if I was Chelsea, but. I know people who wanted him to score because they like seeing him like that. And
I think it's one of them where when a manager like Alex Ferguson comes out and says, "I'm changing my tactics to stop Torres."
Well, he used to terrorise Ferdinand and.
Vidic, he terrorised Vidic and Ferdinand.
Well, and how good was Vidic, right? I didn't like Drogba used to struggle against Vidic, right? But Torres used to make him look like bloody. Boccanegra or something.
I mean, like there were Vidic. I mean, like, how good Ferdinand was. I mean,
You see my QPR.
But we thought just so obviously just ending a bit on Torres, like, so Dougie, Taven, I'll ask you for it. Do you think if he'd stayed at Liverpool and played with Suarez, do you think he would have carried on scoring goals? Because he hasn't had a great season that season, but do you think he would have come back?
It's hard to say, really.
I mean, obviously we can never say, yeah.
But I think he would have had a better chance at Liverpool because, like Dougie said, the team was sort of built around him, and he never just seemed to fit for it. It was like when Chelsea bought him. I remember being like, did they need him? Like, I'm just going back to what Dougie said there. That period when they sold Michael Owen, between having Michael Owen and Torres, they had like nobody who you can sort of say, that were their standout striker. And Chelsea had Drogba throughout all that time.
And we had an Elka as well.
And an Elka. And it's like, so why did they need Torres? It's like, it was just
weird, isn't it?
I
think it was an Abramovich signing, not a... Ancelotti didn't want him.
Just wanted to spend money, didn't they? I think in a big marquee signing, I think...
I don't think it's quite the Real Madrid thing. I think it's more a case of Abramovich had fallen in love with a player and he want that player.
Yeah.
Like he tried to sign Roberto Carlos for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Which obviously didn't happen, but
it's a little similar to like Shevchenko as well.
Very, yeah.
It's a similar story.
He just came too late, didn't he, Shevchenko?
Yeah.
See, and I think what bugs me about Shevchenko is people think he was crap. He's one of the best strikers in world football ever. He was unbelievable for AC Milan and Dynamo Kiev. He just didn't work out at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, Dougie, we'll just wrap up on Torres and we'll do Carroll a bit separate then. Do you have an affinity for Torres still, or do you kind of feel like he's somewhat tainted for you, or do you think no, because he went away and he wasn't so good? Does that kind of help? Or I mean, he did go off and win things. I don't know if that bothered Liverpool fans or not. But
I think the problem was from a Liverpool's perspective. I don't know what other Liverpool fans think of Torres. I love Torres, and I think he left. And like you say, I think when a player doesn't do that well, it kind of softens the blow a little bit. But you do love a player, and then the player comes back and gets booed. When they worship the ground he walked on at Anfield, and then you leave, it's a bit difficult. But I must say though, he has been back at Liverpool. He did play in the Gerrard and Carragher match.
Yeah, and I don't think he got booed in that game, did he?
And he got a massive cheer.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely brilliant, and that's what it should be like. Every player that leaves shouldn't always get booed when they come back.
But like we were saying, because time heals all wounds, maybe they can forgive because it's so long away. So, right, Andy Carroll now, right? I have to admit, when Liverpool signed him, I remember you were quite chuffed at the time, weren't you, Dougie? I don't think you can deny it. I was a little bit like, I've got why you signed him. He's a good player. He was a good player at the time, playing well, but then I was almost like, why? It was a bit weird because you already had Torres coming in.
Yeah.
I think,
and he was injured, wasn't he, when they signed him? They bought him injured, didn't they?
His first game was Man United at home. He came on for the last 10 or 15 minutes. And I think every Liverpool fan was quite excited because he was quite a young up-and-coming guy. He's got a lot of goals for Newcastle. We're thinking maybe something different.
Yeah.
And I think also, I think because of what happened with Torres, I think they've sort of gone, we need to do something here. We need to sign. We need to spend big on something.
Panic buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we bought Suarez expecting Suarez is going to play with Torres. Whether that would have worked, in hindsight, it looks damn good. But Suarez could be quite greedy at times. Torres could be quite greedy. It might not have worked.
Well,
Carroll was going where they wanted a big man, small man thing. And it just... Liverpool don't play...
Yeah, I know what you're going to... I do think if Carroll had had the application... I think Carroll would have been a great player if he'd have had the application. He was more interested in getting sloshed of his mates, money and stuff and things like that. I mean, that transfer window night when they signed Andy Carroll, what were you thinking? Were you just like, what?
I just remember it was like I couldn't take my eyes off that deadline day.
It was mental.
I think we have the Torres because you heard the Torres thing first because I remember hearing that
went all day.
That was all day. And then the Carroll thing were quite later on. And it was like, I just remember like raised eyebrows at the fee more than anything. Because it was like, we're up and coming. And it was just like, it screamed panic buy when they got him.
We did that a lot though over years.
And I think Liverpool put their eggs in his basket, because I don't think although Suarez had a good was good at Ajax, I don't think anyone could have dreamed of how good Suarez would have turned out to be at Liverpool when they signed it. He was like the sort of like the second signing in that window, if you like. It was almost like Carroll was he was the headline signing, and I just think again it just wasn't a fit. It wasn't a good fit for Liverpool.
Because I think Carroll actually kind of suited like West Ham when he went to West Ham and stuff, which that kind of fit, didn't it? Although I don't think he was like. I don't think he's been. I think he should have been a better player than he was, Andy Carroll.
Yeah, I think the application, like you said there, the application is a big part of it, because you look at players like Peter Crouch, who's like a big, tall, and like he had a good career for himself. Like
he had a brilliant. I think he had a brilliant career, Crouch. Yeah,
got quite a few appearances for England, and Andy Carroll, it's just never really worked out for him, because. I don't know whether that's down to the application, or is it just because.
Do you know the best game I ever saw him play for England against Sweden when we beat Sweden? Came on and just completely changed the game. And other than that, I can't. I mean, I remember that Man City game played quite well for you guys, but other than that, I can't think of any other games where.
Crouchy was good in the air, but he was good with the ball at his feet. He could play.
He had more to it. Yeah, he had more talent than he had.
I think. I mean, he's better football than any of us lot, but he struggled with the ball at his feet, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
He could hit a shot. He was good in the air, but Liverpool didn't play that system, and a lot of times you watched him, he looked frustrated because the ball was
lost.
It was coming in on the ground, and frustrated in some way.
Because it didn't work. Yeah, we'll move on to the next one then. So before we do that. Who do you think it kind of worked out better for? If it worked out better for anyone,
I don't think any of them did. I think it was a cut your losses on both, really, for both Chelsea.
See, I would say the only thing I'd say is because Torres did win stuff, you can kind of say it worked out better for him in that regard. But in terms of the fees and like the player caliber, I think both of them just.
I just think with Torres though, if he looks back at his career. And I always say this for players, like, he won stuff with Chelsea, fair enough. But I think when he looks back on his career, when he's sort of showing his grandkids his career, he won't be showing his, like...
No, I get what you're saying,
He'll be showing how him at the peak of his powers at Liverpool. That's how he'll want to be remembered. And that's... and like scoring in Euros, were it? Final. And it's stuff like that they'll look back on. Yeah.
I mean, I would say I think I actually do think if he stayed at Liverpool, I'm not saying it would have been as prolific, but I think he probably would have stayed and still scored plenty. He might have got like 15 a season rather than getting like whatever he got for us, like 5 a season or whatever.
Yeah. I think he would have found form again at Liverpool, but I just think I think his head had gone, and I think he just felt
his head had gone. Yeah.
And I don't know why. Reasons why though.
Yeah.
Some of the reasons why he wanted to leave. I really do.
He seems like a nice bloke as well. So another one I felt sorry for. I never really felt sorry for Andy Carroll because I kind of felt like he caused his own downfall. But kind of another one like we talked about before, didn't we, with Shevchenko? Felt kind of sad to see him like that, didn't you? So right then. Yeah. So this is the one I'm actually most interested in talking about because this one was a bit. I think this transfer that day I was about, whoa, what's going on? So Alexis Sanchez and Mkhitaryan, and it was a straight swap deal. And you know what's funny? We always mention like swap deals and talk about them like they don't happen, but we've talked about like a couple tonight, and then there was Ibrahimovic and Etu. Don't forget about that one. But this was like a straight swap because obviously Alexis Sanchez had 6 months on his contract.
Yeah,
I think it was. So at Arsenal, he had 122 appearances, scored 60 goals. Manu, 32 appearances, 3 goals. He's technically still on Manu's book, so he might go back there, but I don't know. I think it's one of them where maybe better if it doesn't happen. And then Mkhitaryan, 39 appearances for Man United, 5 goals, 1 Europa League, and for Arsenal, 39 appearances, as you said, Tatum, and 8 goals. So I guess we need to talk about Alexis Sanchez because he was. Mkhitaryan was almost like a bit of an afterthought in this, and that sounds horrible to say, but so Alexis Sanchez, Barcelona, Udinese, Barcelona, great player. Came to Arsenal. I think great player for Arsenal. We all agree. So Taven, what about you? So just tell us about Alexis Sanchez. I mean, you must have loved the guy when he were at Arsenal scoring all those goals.
Oh yeah. I think I would say Alexis Sanchez has been the best Arsenal player in the sort of Emirates era. And that's sort of quite a big thing to say, because obviously we've had although we haven't had the success that we've had that we're used to before at Highbury. We've had some damn good players in recent seasons, and I just think we got exactly what we wanted from him. I think it was 34, 35 million, I think 36 million, something like that.
Yeah, it was fairly cheap actually. I remember. Yeah,
they were, and
which sounds daft saying 30 million is cheap or whatever.
Yeah,
I know,
but it was good value, and it was just one of those players you got him and you said, right, he's world class. Yeah. He's gonna, and I remember his first game in pre-season against Benfica, and when he came on, the excitement, the buzz around the ground, and he just hit the ground running. And I think he had his best season the season before all this sort of contract talk started up. And I think as Arsenal fans, like, you get attached to a player, and then it always just comes around again towards the end of the contract, and then you start hearing the whispers of like, oh, like, is it going to renew? Is it? And it just, you get a bit bored, like, of hearing the same thing, and it's going to be a saga again. It's like, and I remember it was always a Alexis and Ozil thing. It was always like as if they come as a pair, and that was sort of hanging over for quite a long time, like coming towards the end of his third season, because I think he had 3.5 seasons, I think, with us.
And 60 goals. That's quite 122 appearances. Yeah. That's good.
And he won. I was glad that he won silverware with us. He won those 2 FA Cups, and I think he was a big part of that. That probably his best season, the one where we beat Chelsea in the final. That were probably his best season, and then it was just that season he'd gotten the number 7 shirt, and it all just felt right. Obviously, with a star man, and Arsenal fans adored him, and I think it was just a genuine world class player, one of the best, undisputedly one of the best players in the league at that time, and then. It was Man City who were like sniffing about him.
Yeah, Man U weren't even in the conversation for a while.
No,
but just before, did you know he started to kind of sulk a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, there was that, and I think I don't like seeing that. The sulkiness and the it was almost like I know I'm better than all my teammates.
Yeah, it's not right, is it? No.
And I don't think even the best players like. Ronaldo and Messi, I don't think you even get it with them that they're like, oh, I'm above this team.
Yeah, the moments when they need literally stood there like that, like it was almost similar to the Gallas thing in some ways. Without, sitting on his ass or whatever. But it was just a bit like, I remember seeing him doing it. I'm just like, what are you doing?
And I didn't really sort of understand obviously like Manchester City. Obviously, way ahead of Arsenal and more in contention for the bigger trophies like the league and stuff like that. But it seemed like towards the end they were sort of just desperate to get away, and I just couldn't see it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
how has it turned from like, why did you come here then? Like, you know what I mean? I don't get like why sometimes players come and then they're the star man that seems like they've got everything that they need. Teams built around him, and then they just want more, and then it turned out to be for him. Yeah, he was going to Man United, but people say like, he wanted to like have a crack at winning things. But I'm sorry, Man United have finished below Arsenal 6 out of the 7 last seasons.
Man, you weren't really like better than you then, were they, or anything? It was
there were. So that was why when it turned out it was Man United,
I think we know why it went, don't we, when it comes down to it.
So I think he tarnished his sort of reputation, and it just felt like, I remember saying to Dougie at the time, it felt like, I know we'll touch on Mkhitaryan, but it felt like someone had got Alexis Sanchez, Mkhitaryan, they'd locked him up somewhere, and we've never seen them again. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I mean, these players are like imposters. Like Sanchez, unrecognisable at Man United. It's
almost like Torres, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like going into a different environment, to what you know, a completely different club, completely different way of playing.
Yeah.
And you just don't fit there. You're not a piece of the puzzle. That's what it sort of seemed to be, and that's one of those that you sort of say, you look on it and you think, with a little bit of satisfaction, that you think, right, he's gone.
Yeah.
He left us, but it's not worked out for you. So
Yeah.
on your bike.
So, Dougie, what about you? So you can just tell it. Obviously, we're a bit pressed for time, but just Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal, and then just give us what you thought when he left, and were you thinking, why?
I thought so.
You actually had a few comments. I remember you making a lot of comments when he was sulking, actually. So you can get into that a little bit as well, yeah. So you had a lot of comments.
I think Sanchez, I mean, like Tim said, I've got a family of Arsenal fans. The buzz when Sanchez first signed, it was a South American from Barcelona who was very, very talented and literally became Arsenal's talisman. I mean, okay, they had Mesut Ozil, but Sanchez...
Yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah. He was the man, wasn't he?
Run, he'd back, he'd run off, he'd tackle, he'd score goals, he'd create goals.
He'd get fans off the seat, wouldn't he?
Of course he would. Some of the stuff he used to do, and I think he was phenomenal. But then these phenomenal players, especially South American players,
I think he went to his head.
Any player really, that you know that you only can have for so long before someone comes up and gets them. Now
happened with Torres, didn't it?
It
his head as well.
Yeah. I think it happened to them all. I think at some stage, I think they fancy something different. I think Sanchez started to prove how much of a sulk he was when he started to. I mean, he got substituted at Swansea and put the jacket over his head, and it's like, what are you showing here? What you're a damn good footballer. You're a damn good footballer. You are going to get taken off sometimes, and I think, and that thing started to creep more and more into his game at Arsenal, where he would sulk. But he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. He could do anything with football. He got the fans off his seat. I mean, I've been to Arsenal. My sister watched him play live, and he's something else live.
Yeah. And he was blistering pace, wasn't he, as well? They were like,
he could do it all. He could do it all. Bobby was brilliant. But then it was back end of his Arsenal career, and he started to do his silly stuff. I mean, then he played against Liverpool and sort of just sat on middle of pitch, and not my fault. That it was all.
I don't remember what game it was in. I seem to think it might have been Man City or something. I just remember him just like hands on hips, and I'm almost what you
always got with him.
Do something.
Yeah, you always got him. The camera would always point to him, and he'd be just like on his haunches, and it'd be like get up, and it's like why is it like?
And don't get me wrong,
it feels like the team have to perform. Yeah. Oh yeah, they did
because it's a headline for a minute.
Yeah. And they love anything that can build up to a transfer saga, like you say.
Oh, yeah. They love it, don't they?
I just think it's disrespectful of his teammates, that sort of behaviour.
Yeah, it was.
And I think I wouldn't have been surprised if it. I think it was quite evident when he left. There weren't really many Arsenal players who did a post sort of saying like,
right, okay,
goodbye or anything like that. So
that's
I think
interesting.
Towards the end, they got a little bit sick of his sulkiness and his "I'm better than you" sort of attitude. So
it was like, give me the ball. You're used when you've got the ball. Because I mean, how many times people had missed and he'd go mad.
Yeah.
I know. And do you know what? I will say one of his flaws of his game, I think he was a little bit sloppy at times when he with the ball, like just in terms of like passing and being there for the pass. Like, I'm not saying he was like bad in any games, but he'd have that side to him, wouldn't he? Where because I always thought it wouldn't suit Man City because Man City like to keep the ball, and he was a little bit. You know what I'm saying, don't you? I'm not saying like I'm not saying he couldn't have the ball. He won't like Lukaku, wait, but he
just tried to. He tried too much, Rob, at times. And you think,
he did.
But then on the flip side of this, we've got Mkhitaryan. I actually remember Mkhitaryan when he signed for Man United talked about Arsenal, so I think he actually was a bit of an Arsenal fan. Now, I think he was one of them. I feel bad saying it. I feel like he was a lot of talent, but it wasn't quite. It's like he wasn't good enough to display it. Does that make sense? He'd have his moments.
Yeah. I think.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I think he were a fantastic player at Dortmund, and I remember it was one of those that when you played him in Champions League, I scored against us at the Emirates, and I think he scored against Liverpool in Europa League, and it was one of those players you think, oh, they've got him, they've got Aubameyang, they've got Mkhitaryan, they've got these players who like stand out. And he were one of them at that time. And then when I remember when he signed for Man United, I thought, oh, they've got a good player there. And then it didn't really seem to. I know he won the Europa League with them, but it didn't really seem to.
Click, did it?
It didn't click at Man United. But I think it like on generally how he's viewed by like fans, like in like a neutral. I think people felt he were better at Man United than what he were at Arsenal. Although his stats say differently.
I think something to what you said earlier. I almost feel like when he went to Arsenal, I almost forgot about him, and that sounds awful.
Yeah, I know. But, this sounds awful as well. Like he's on loan at Roma at the moment, but I remember the other day I was thinking like,
so he's still on the books at Arsenal then? I didn't realise.
Yeah, he's still on the books at Arsenal. It's a bit like the Sanchez situation. They've both gone to it. This guy So it's just. Yeah, I think that both clubs have just realised that it's not worked out, and like they've sort of just agreed to cut the losses, and I don't think Arsenal massively miss him. If we sold him now, this summer, I wouldn't.
Do you feel like he's like almost like we said about Sanchez, a bit of a sulk, and you kind of almost feel like he's a bit of a d-bag. Kind of like Mkhitaryan seems like a really nice guy, and he won't for lack of effort.
The one side of it. He's the sort of opposite of it, where he's he's a nice guy, and I remember when we signed him, I was glad we'd signed him. I thought we've lost Sanchez, but I remember we'd got Aubameyang in and we got Mkhitaryan, so it was quite an exciting time because we had these new sort of star players, and he did sort of start quite well, but I just think it was just one of those where we didn't really need. I don't think either club wanted to sort of spend money on the transfers, and it were a sort of agreement of convenience really between the two clubs.
Almost like you helped each other out in some ways.
It was like it's not really working for you at Man United. You want to leave Arsenal, so it's like
So Dougie got to say on Mkhitaryan before we move on to the last bit.
Echo what you really said. Really, he was like he was so good at Dortmund, and
remember that guy
at Man United. It was exciting to see him.
He went same, wasn't
he? He went to Man United. I think, like I said, it's one of the things, isn't it? It's what about Torres? It's about hitting the ground running when you come from another country, and he just I don't know why. And like you say, he's somewhere at the moment. He's probably with Elvis somewhere.
You're never going to look back at Mkhitaryan now, are you, and say you didn't like him?
Do you know what it's going to be, though? It's going to be people that you'll forget.
Oh,
in about 10 years' time, you'll go, oh, how did we have Mkhitaryan? Because he's not going to remember now.
No.
That's because he's a player.
So I'll say this before we wrap up. So T, like Sanchez, how do you look back on his Arsenal career, and do you kind of think one day he'll be welcome back, or do you feel like he? Do you think he tainted it that badly at the end that he can't?
I think he's unnecessarily tainted it because people always say this, don't they, that like if he's a stage he'd have been a legend and stuff. But I think genuinely it would have been, because I mean he came here when we at a time when we were sort of just recovering after losing people like Nasri, Fabregas, Van Persie, a couple of seasons without like actually established stars, and then we got Ozil, then we got Alexis, Sanchez, and it were like we were sort of building something here, and we had a damn good team, and again I think it was just a couple of pieces missing, like as always, But yeah, I just think like I look back on I sometimes watch games and stuff, and I do have good memories of like some of the goals he scored and stuff like that. But I just think is the way in which he sort of were that desperate to sort of just jump ship, and it didn't, and because it's not really worked out for him, it's almost like he's he's just T-boned his career. And again, I go back to it.
Such a shame. Yeah.
It is. He might go on and sort of like maybe he'll win, something with Inter Milan. I don't know. But then it's going back to what I said on Torres. I think if he looks back on his career, the time where he was at his peak of his powers were at Arsenal.
Yeah,
and I don't think anyone can dispute that. I think even he's better than what he were at Barcelona, because I think he always had a little bit of Messi's shadow, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like another where it's almost like the Torres opposite of the Torres thing, isn't it? Where we're saying, aren't we? I feel a bit like with Torres. We said we felt sorry for Torres. I don't really feel sorry for him. Sanchez. I kind of feel like it's caused his own problems.
It's one of them things as well that he's not the first one. And he will not like say on with it. And I'm pretty sure if we are to do these programs for a long time, there'll be plenty more.
Oh, of course there will. Yeah, of course there will. Yeah, well, so I think we can all agree this didn't work out for either club, really, did it?
No.
I think that you probably got a slightly better deal because you got a few more goals.
I think if it's sort of if 2020 was a transfer deal, that would be it.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Are you a bit hoping that it will go through now?
So just to wrap up, we're going to do more transfer ones, and we obviously saved a lot. We would never have got through them tonight if we'd done them all. So that was a controversial. We're going to do the ones that got away as well at some point, which we'll schedule in. So, and Dougie, you want to just tell them about what episode you've got? You're going to be doing one without me. Are you going to be on that one, Taven?
I'll be on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna, for all Leeds fans that watch, are going to be watching. It's just one on Leeds, really, just on what happened to them in the way that they went down. Because to be honest with you, looking at the team, they had a really, really good team, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it's just, was the ball to blame to the reason why they went down? Was it just the team itself? So it's interesting to see what I think we're going to have. One of Taven's friends on, Josh, are going to be on. He's a big Leeds fan, so we're going to get him on and see what
Leeds perspective as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And have a look at what they think regarding Project Restart.
Yeah.
It affect them coming up. So
yeah.
Be interesting to see what they think our Leeds are getting them on. Yeah, that should be quite interesting for that.
So that'll be your first person from Leeds on it that supports Leeds. So enjoy that one. So yeah, right. So to wrap up, then you can follow us on Twitter at PL Seasons, and our Gmail is plseasonstoremember@gmail.com.
Wonderful.
See you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.